Good morning, Bruce Ferris here. It is the 17th of February, Monday, and time for This Week in Seattle Real Estate. Let's take a look at the stats. We are now in a seller's market and firmly ensconced. Multiple offers are taking place. Here is the graphic for current actives, and then here they are. Roughly half of those are 7 days or less. Same thing here. Here are where the pendings are laying at this moment, and roughly half of those as well. So let's take a look at the stats here on that. And we look at newly active. We look at those different types of pendings, including the 6 days or less on market pendings. And then we track the relationship between them. So basically, green means low numbers, red and white mean high numbers. We have been essentially in inventory greens since the beginning of the market. A little bit of surging taking place here at times, but in comparison to our pending inspections and 6 days or less on market pendings, we are lagging in terms of inventory. Highest numbers for pending inspection are right there in the 60 plus range. Our 7 days, we haven't quite hit 100 in a 7-day time period for pendings, but we are getting close, pushing up against it. In terms of the 6 days or less on market, this is where the real news is, the story. We're in some pretty bright red numbers here in terms of that inventory. And if we look at the total of pending or pending inspection properties that go off market within 6 days of hitting the market, and look at the same same total number, 341 versus 163, or look at the weekly, 114 7-day new actives on market in the last 7 days, and 61 properties taken off market in the last 7 days that went off market in 6 days or less. So here are our numbers. Coincidentally, they're both at 54%. Now that's above 50% of total pendings and pending inspections are off market in 6 days or less. Sorry about the stumble. And then the same thing here, over 50% currently of the actual numbers of properties coming onto market, over 50% of that total number are going off market in 6 days or less. And that is a really conducive to seller's market multiple offer situation. And most of these would be multiple offers. Looking at Northwest multiple listing numbers, they do a similar but a little bit broader graphing. And if I grab those numbers and look at it, sure enough, we just busted above 160% again in terms of new pendings versus new actives. So that's a pretty strong set of numbers. Let's see where we are here. Let's take a look at Mr. Alan Pope, the great Northwest appraiser. He is kind enough to put his graphing together. He tracks properties from South Main Street all the way up to 145th. That's both condos and residential. And the blues are new coming onto market, and the bright reds, or the reds there, are how many pendings are taking place per month. And we can see here, starting back in 2015, this is when the market changed for the first time. And as long as pendings were exceeding newly actives, we were in an upwardly pushing market. We had a little bit of a change there, and then right back into pendings exceeding new inventory. And here we are at May and June of 2018. That was a critical moment. Pendings pretty much stayed in the same set of numbers, but all of a sudden we had inventory that was pushing above the 1,000 mark and into the 1,500 range, 1,700 range here. That had changed everything, and we saw price drops as a result of that. We have been watching this number come down here, and Alan just released this a few days ago. So sure enough, we are seeing a pending red here pushing up above the inventory. Inventory, interestingly, if we go back historically, 487, 374, 351. So we're almost double that in terms of what we had. But our pendings at, say, 513, 514, 473, 589, we're at 606 here. So that's pretty strong pending activity. Here's another graph that he does that I think illustrates even further. There's a 100% mark right here over on the left where my cursor is, right down the center. We were in the double. We were above the 100% for a long time there, for a couple of years. 200% at the highest point, 204. And then the May-June of 2018, dropping down to 42.7 and 47.8. But interestingly enough, we have crested back above the 100% mark, even on Allen's graphing. And here is the 10-year look at King County. This one, by the way, again, is just for 145th. But if we take a look at King County, same thing we're seeing over here. This is pretty strong numbers. If all of King County also is having an excess of pendings over inventory, then we're going to be continuing to see a seller's market. Let's take a look at the amount of homes for sale. Black line is Seattle overall. This is my own particular set of graphing that I do. We're seeing the green here. This is called the canary in the coal mine. This is Ravenna and Ballard. At highest point in the 130, 125 range and down to 50 in terms of home for sale. Let's go for a historic and look at the numbers for a 10-year time period roughly. And you can see how much we had on market. And then we started seeing the drops. And here it is right around 2015. Inventory follows a cyclical thing. And then here's the 2018 jump. Drops back down for the holidays, goes back up for the beginning of the year, and boom, we are back down. Let's go for pending sales. We see pretty much a typical cyclical thing taking place here, but pendings are on the rise at this point. Median sales prices is what people really want to know about, and where are those numbers? Let's take a look at the green here. Yeah, let's see if I can get my, there you go, so I'm down below it. Crest of market at March 2019 at 785, and then 786 comes back down, 740 and 750, and I believe we are currently right around 755, 770. This is last tracked January, so we're now moving into the third week of February here. Overall, Seattle. Let's see if I can get my mouse up above that. Overall, Seattle is on a slow rise there. 675, 690, 695. Let's go to the next one up here. Median days on market. People want to know how long it takes to get a property sold. And here they are. Canary in the coal mine is the green, and that is the Ballard area. And at the lowest point here, we were down at 7 days on market, 7 or 8 days on market. Highest point for that was 24 days, but that was right in the November, December range. And we have dropped back down to 15 days on market. And I suspect that's going to continue to drop. Seattle overall is just kind of pegging out there at 21 days on market, 3 weeks on average. So we'll see how that goes. Let me hold off for a second. So finally, let's close this out. You can always look at this. We do this on a daily basis. You can go to tinyurl.com/BP Statistics Daily. And you can have access to this chart and my comments that we make over here on the left. And you can also access our blog. And this is where I write out the information, plus include a copy of the video, a most recent video, and provide some information. Try to keep this as interesting as possible. But for those of you who are what I'll call in the fight, whether you're a buyer or seller of ours, these numbers are important. If you're somebody thinking about doing something coming up in the future, those are important as well. There's one more tool you might want to take advantage of, and that is HomeSpotter. This is an NWMLS tool, and this allows you to basically to point your phone any given direction at a property that's on market or pending, etc., and it will give you direct access into the MLS for market data. And you can get to that via tinyurl.com/BP HomeSpotter. Here we go. So that's it. Bruce Ferris, 17th of February. And appreciate you hanging in there. Give us a call if you need any help or questions answered. Take care. Talk to you soon.